Well, not quite as long of a queue as I thought it was going to be. But then again, I was hoping that it wasn't going to be that long of a queue anyway. Considering that this is only just the last two bosses. In fact, there he is right there. Well, since we're having a moment to wait. Mythrax, the Unraveler, bringer of oblivion, slayer of Sethralus. With his mission complete, he returns to his master's side to await further instruction. I speculate it's also possible that he's here to help Cahoon get out of here. I think. So, of course, I was looking at this. So this seems to be his main thing. Annihilation, which reduces the player's maximum health by 1%.
5,
Pull?
4,
or just
3,
like go
2,
down? Because I'm
1.
kind of confused as to what exactly we're doing. Are we seriously? Oh my gosh. Ah! Okay.
3, 2, 1.
Oblivion Sphere.
I'm
Watch
so
Operation
confused as to
Blast.
what exactly is happening right now. I'm gonna drop some
3,
totems.
2, 1.
Oblivion Sphere.
Watch
Obliteration Blast.
3, 2, 1.
Phase change.
Zalzaya's Awakening.
3, 2, 1.
Oblivion Sphere.
I'm sorry, who's awakening? Oh. Oh gosh, oh gosh, oh gosh. Oh wait, I think, yeah, those give you back your health.
Watch your
Obliteration
step.
Beam.
Three, two, one.
Watch your
Obliteration
step.
Beam.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure if you run to these orbs, it actually restores the health that
Watch
you
your
lost from
step.
Annihilation. I think that's what the tooltip said. Well, you can't dispel that blast, so...
Watch your step.
Obliteration Beam.
Good thing I just missed getting hit by that.
3, 2, 1.
Watch your step.
Obliteration Beam.
We seem to be doing okay.
Phase change. Phase change.
Zalzaya's Awakening.
3, 2, 1.
Oblivion Sphere.
Uh-oh. There we go. I hope that works.
Watch your step.
Obliteration Beam.
Three, two, one.
Watch your step.
Obliteration Beam. Oblivion's Veil.
I'm pretty sure that can't stun him.
Watch your step.
Obliteration Beam.
Three, two, one.
Watch your step.
Obliteration Beam.
Alright. Alright. Now for the big bad himself. Oh gosh.
Now it is left to us to end Gahoon's plague once and for all.
The seals are broken. The end
Yikes.
is here. Come and be the first to receive my gift. pestilence and a vast, bubbling, putrid cyst will cover the world.
Try and get everybody up to full health. So this is where he's being held. In Uldir, the Titans had hoped to find a solution to the old gods, but when they experimented upon the old gods' unending ravenous need to corrupt, they unexpectedly created a perfect avatar of that desire.
5,
Gahun
4,
is nothing but
3,
rot,
2,
pestilence, and
1.
decay. The ultimate parasite who cannot stop himself from consuming his host until
3,
he's gone.
2, 1.
So,
Watch all.
yeah, Gahun is not right here right now. That's him right there. He's stuck in that wall. So we have to deal with these ads first in order to free him, so we can then use the drive in order to try and get rid of him, as Mother informed us when we got
1000
him.
lost.
Where's this?
3, 2,
When it's like
1.
you want to cast and then you realize, oh wait, the player's not near you, so you can't go, where are they? And then you have to try and figure out where they are. Yeah, so we gotta clear all these things first before we can be able to get Gahun out of there, so we can then take him on. It is kind of an interesting idea.
3, 2, 1.
The feast of 1,000 years begin.
Watch all.
Oh gosh, oh gosh.
Thousand lost.
3, 2, 1.
So we are actually needing to collect, I think, the Matrix orbs,
What
so we
orb?
can then turn them in to be able to get him out of there. I think is it those things? I don't know. Pretty sure the healers are not supposed to focus on doing that themselves, because I obviously have to try and keep people alive. I'm hoping like the DPS or the tanks are helping do that.
Power matrix.
Oh great, more of these things.
Watch all.
I'm gonna drop my big totem right there.
1000 lost.
3, 2, 1.
Watch all.
Thousand lost.
3, 2, 1.
I'm looking around trying to see how I would identify where we turn those in. And what we turn
Watch
in.
all.
I heard that this guy on Mythic
1000
was
lost.
pretty...
Power
This
matrix.
whole encounter on Mythic was pretty crazy. Where is this player?
3, 2,
There we go.
1.
Run out.
Lighted ground.
Watch your feet.
Oh gosh, oh gosh.
Lighted ground.
Lighted ground
1000
under you.
lost.
Yeah. That hurts. And it slows you down.
3, 2, 1.
1,000 malls. He's reminding me of Yogg Saron.
1000 lost. Lighted ground.
Watch your feet.
Oh gosh.
Lighted ground.
Watch your feet.
2, 1.
Thousand moss.
Watch all.
Lighted ground.
Watch your feet.
Oh gosh.
Power donation blast.
3, 2.
Oh, hold on. I think we actually have to stand in here. Alright, he's free.
Three, 2,
Group
1.
hug. Gonna go ahead and get my elemental out here and be like, hey, go help tank
Wave
this
of
guy.
corruption.
3, 2, 1.
Watch all.
This is the thing that the blood trolls in
Wave of
Nazmir
corruption.
were obsessed with worshipping. A wave of
3,
corruption, yeah.
2,
Look at all that
1.
damage over time.
Run out.
4,
This is what I was concerned about as a healer.
Blood feast.
Lighted ground.
Watch your feet.
I figured trying to heal in this boss fight would be a nightmare.
1.
Watch all.
Wave
Wave
of
of
healing.
corruption.
Stop
Mind numbing
casting.
shadow.
Ow.
3, 2, 1.
Yep, that definitely hurts.
Watch all.
Wave of corruption. Power matrix.
Oh my gosh.
3, 2, 1. 4, 3,
Watch all.
1.
Blood feast.
The rot runs through your veins.
3, 2,
I don't know if that's gonna help. I may as well throw them out there while I have them.
Watch all.
Wave of corruption.
Stop
Lighted
casting.
ground shatter.
I can't tell if jumping over it
3,
is actually
2,
helping or not. Oh gosh.
1.
Watch all. Stop
Mind numbing
casting.
shatter.
3, 2, 1. 4, 3,
Watch all.
1.
Blood feast.
Come on. Come on.
3, 2,
Power matrix.
1.
Watch all.
Wave of corruption.
Stop
Mind numbing
casting.
shatter.
3,
Nature
2,
locked. Oh gosh.
1.
Watch all.
Lighted ground.
Oh my
Stop
gosh, that is
casting.
so much damage.
Lighted ground.
3, 2, 1.
Watch all.
2, 1.
Blood feast.
3, 2, 1.
Oh my gosh, I am so close. It's a good thing I have this talent that lets me be able to actually get healing when I'm in ghost wolf form.
Wave of corruption. Mind numbing
I think
shatter.
I need my ghost wolf form to actually keep me alive right now.
2,
Oh gosh.
Watch all.
It's the stacks of putrid blood.
Power
It's
donation
a lot of
blast.
damage every second and a half.
Lighted ground.
Watch your step.
Oh, I'm dead.
Lighted ground.
Reincarnation.
ground.
Three, two, one.
Yikes. A lot of us are dead. Oh gosh.
3, 2, 1.
Run out. Private ground. Wave of watch your feet. Private ground.
3, 2, 1.
Run out.
3, 2, 1.
Face away. Private ground. Watch your feet. Private
Oh
ground.
gosh.
Wave of corruption.
2, 1.
Run out. Private ground. Watch your feet.
Man, that stuff keeps ending up under me.
3, 2, 1.
Wave of corruption. Watch all.
3, 2, 1.
Face away.
Oh gosh, feared.
2, 1.
Run out.
Oh, we did it.
Has taken root.
Alright, time to bloody this glaive with his blood. I'm gonna do a mass res. What? Okay, never mind. There's only one person dead, so. Oh, target has a resurrection pending. They're just AFK, I guess. Okay, never mind. So yeah, I forgot to comment on, you saw how throughout the facility, we saw it was basically as like a Titan facility, by the way. Gross. Ew. Ugh. Reminds me of the xenomorphs from the Alien films. But yeah, this is the corpse of Gahoon. Ugh. So, we have done what Vol'jin asked us, which was to bloody the glaive with the blood of his corpse. So, storyline-wise, we have now ended the threat that we were dealing with in Nazmir and throughout our questing in Zandalar, which was this guy, Gahoon. And the threat of him being an old god and basically returning to add in yet another old god threat, as if we're not dealing with enough already. I found it interesting that he was basically trapped in here the entire time, and then we basically help break him out of there so we can be able to use the drive in order to kill him. Gosh. I'll tell you what, what I was concerned about was certainly true there. Those stacks were doing so much damage. One, it's a great thing I had reincarnation up, because that let me be able to keep going in the fight. Otherwise, it would have been done. I couldn't tell if you could actually dispel those or not. Maybe I could, and I just didn't realize it. Once Gahoon begins the encounter, encased within the chamber's wall, calling forth minions to assault his foes to dislodge him from his lair, the regeneration drive must be fully charged by depositing power matrices within it. So that's what I guess my teammates were doing, was they were... Alright. Once active... So matrices were a mote of titanic power. Depositing this core in the regeneration drive generates 35 energy. While holding the power matrix, the target's movement speed is reduced by 20% every 2 seconds until they become immobile. Yikes. Once active, Gahoon begins his assault in earnest. Gahoon can be stalled by continuing to power up the origination drive, causing re-origination blast to weaken him. Upon reaching low health, Gahun unleashes his might, destroying the re-origination drive, preventing the use of re-origination blasts. Which is when the re-origination drive reaches 100, it unleashes a blast of titanic power, which is that big yellow blast of energy you saw that we all just kind of gathered into, which unleashes a blast of titanic power, inflicting 20,000 damage to all creatures, including players, every 6 seconds for 24 seconds. That's why I was a little confused that the players were all just kind of stacking underneath it. But the blast incapacitates Gahun and all of his minions and increases all damage taken by these creatures by 100% for 24 seconds. Deposit the power matrices. I guess I was all supposed to do that. I had no idea what I was looking for in terms of what they looked like. They inflict substantial damage to all party members each time that it is fired. Remember, Blood Feast can reset your stacks of putrid blood, which at one point I saw I had 9 stacks, which is why I was getting so much damage. Blood Feast. Tendrils of Gahun's corruption immobilize the target for 8 seconds. After 8 seconds, players within 12 yards of the target have the application of the Putrid Blood reset, and a gibbering horror is spawned. Putrid Blood inflicts 1400 A2 every 1.5 seconds. The effect stacks. And I saw at 9 stacks, it was doing like 13,000 damage every 1.5 seconds. That's a lot of damage. So, look at his live model there. No legit loot really drops from this guy. See, here's the thing I think why a lot of people don't do this raid. Look at the loot in this raid. This is on Rainfinder. Now look at it on Mythic. Now, yes, the item level for the gear is higher on Mythic, obviously, but there's nothing cool, unique from this. I mean, there's a trinket here, but there's no mounts, there's no pets, there's nothing cool or unique that would actually make you want to keep going back to this. And let me reiterate this. Oh, apparently I did get this, which I guess is this right here, which I guess is the set shoulder piece for this set here. But see, look at this. This is the Raid Finder set. This is the normal set. This is the heroic set. This is the mythic set. All 4 of these sets are boring, and they almost look exactly the same for every armor type on every difficulty. And this is not the only one. This is the same for every male type. The other armor types are slightly different, but very similar. And the same goes for the Eternal Palace. Now let's look at this. This is a unique set specifically for the Shaman. This is also a set unique for the Shaman. Not another armor type. The Hunters don't get this set. The Shamans do. Now, they could wear this if they wanted. There's nothing restricting them from wearing it, but you get my point. That's from the Trial of Valor. If you beat it on Mythic, you just get this entire set unlocked, and you can do this for every armor type. This is the male version. This is the set unique for the Shaman, to the Nighthold, and the Emerald Nightmare. Are you getting my point? This is the one for Hellfire Citadel. I like that there were sets that were always, like, directed towards whatever your class you were playing. Even going back to vanilla. Look at this. Molten Core and Blackwing Lair. These are not sets for male wearers. These are sets for your class. You were even restricted from being able to pick this up if you weren't a shaman. Other character classes cannot pick up these pieces here as transmogs if you're not a shaman. Now let's go... That was back in vanilla. Now let's look at BFA again. I'm so disappointed with the transmog armor sets in this expansion. It's just so sad and disappointing. So that was Old Deer, where it was a Titan facility that was housing this guy and other things like him, because they were using this place to study the old gods and their need to corrupt things, so they could try and figure out how to defend against it or to counter it. Like, I don't think I know if I read this or not, but just to kind of reiterate this, Millennia ago, seeking to understand the nature of their eternal foe, the Titans constructed this sprawling underground facility to research and quarantine captured specimens. They hoped that by studying the void energy that bound the old gods, probing it for weaknesses and reactions, they could find some way to neutralize it. They were horribly, horribly wrong. The facility was sealed away so that the horrors within would never be unleashed upon. And when I say sealed, I'm referring to the 3 great seals. That was kind of what we found out in questing through Nazmir, as well as Zuldazar. We kind of briefly touched upon it in Vol'dun, but what we were mainly seeing in Vol'dun was the revival of Mythrax, who was going to be the instrument for breaking that seal. What we found out in Nazmir was one of the 3 seals that was already broken in the main facility here in Nazmir. And it was then in Zuldazar we realized that, the hub we go to in Zuldazar, the Great Seal? That's why Zul had Mythrax destroy it, because once all 3 seals were destroyed, which is why it says here, but now those seals have been broken, it would allow Gahun to be able to get out of here. And we have seen what happens if an old god gets out of his prison. That was kind of what we were trying to prevent with Cthulhu in Silithus. That's absolutely what we were trying to prevent when we were in Northrend in the Storm Peaks, when we went into Ulduar, because we realized that his prison, he was not sealed. He had been able to start corrupting it from the inside, and we realized he was about to get out, so we had to go in there and defeat him before he was able to get out, because that would have been a catastrophic event if Yogg-Saron had gotten out. Same with Cthulhu. Now, obviously, it was a little different in Pandaria because we weren't dealing with, because Yusharis was already dead. It was more so Garrosh unleashing the last remnant of his power on the rest of the world for his own end and benefits with his true horde. But the threat is basically the same of we cannot let him get out of here because of the consequences that would happen if he did. And this, what I wanted to point out was, you remember, upstairs, it looks like a straight up regular Titan facility, And then down here, this is kind of indicative of what I was referring to with Yogg-Saron, in terms of how he had been able to spread his corruption, not just in Ulduar, but in all of Northrend. Remember all the Serenite? That was mainly because that's Yogg-Saron's blood. And that's how far his reach and corruption was spreading throughout all of Northrend. And that's basically what was kind of happening here. Like, this entire room is completely covered and affected basically by Gahun's corruption, because as his description says here, he is nothing but rot, pestilence, and decay. He is the ultimate parasite. And this is what happens. This is the kind of thing that would have happened to the surface had he gotten out of here. So, storyline-wise, we have killed Gahun, and we have ended the threat of him doing all this to Azeroth. Okay, apparently this player came back. Said you had a... It says they have a res pending, so I can't be able to res them if they already have a res pending. Yeah. I'm like, I keep hitting the res on you and it won't let me res you. It's like I don't know what to tell you. I can't res you. Just release. This is kind of funny. I was seriously not... I thought... Welp. Oh, that's kind of awkward. I can't res this player, and they won't let them release. That's a very... This is a bit of a pickle. So, anyway. Yeah. I hope I was able to kind of make my point that now that we have dealt with... We've gotten rid of this threat now. Storyline-wise, the threat of Gahoon that was built up through the first 3 zones is now over. We have dealt with that threat of Gahoon. So now we can start turning our focus back to this assault by the Alliance, which is going to lead to Battle of Dazar Lore. And then, of course, we'll be able to investigate the shrine with Xalatath. That will lead into Crucible Storms. And then we will be able to go to Nashatar. Just to give you guys a heads up of kind of what I'm thinking and planning in terms of where we're going to go now that we have finally done this. Guys, I kept trying to figure out ways to try and do this. I kept trying to figure out, can I just set up a group and do a normal run? Or do I actually try Raid Finder? I'll tell you this about Raid Finder. Even if you're queuing... if I ever want to do Raid Finder... Or if you ever want to use Raid Finder, you know what the best and fastest way to make sure you get to it, especially if it's a raid that you know is a raid that a lot of people are not wanting to do, because this is clearly a raid not many people are wanting to do these days. And I don't blame them, considering what else you can get in the other raids, especially Battle for Dazar Lore, is queue up for it as a tank. Because again, 18... DPS, 5 healers, and I was stuck having to wait for at least half an hour a few times because we were full on DPS and full on healers, but we couldn't get 2 tanks. So if you get... The DPS fills up super fast. Healers, relatively fast. If you can queue up as a tank, obviously I didn't necessarily want to do that. One, I can't do that on this character because this is what this playthrough is focused on, this particular character, my main here, my shaman. But also, I feel like I would want to queue up as a tank if I actually knew the fights better. Because usually if you're a tank, you usually want to be more familiar with the fights than other people. Usually. So that way you can kind of be able to know what's coming and tank better for your team. So, we're going to end on... actually, this is not a good shot. Let me go over here. Actually, let's take a moment to look around the room here, because we really didn't get a chance to do that. Is this still going to hurt me? Yes, it is. Undulating mass. Plague damage inflicted every 1.5 seconds. Movement speed reduced by 75%. That's all throughout. Oh, yeah, you're definitely not supposed to go up there. Yeah. So never mind. So this was the little tiny area that he was trapped in. No wonder he wanted to get out. Look at how big and fat he is. So, that's a dead Gahoon. And when we come back, we'll be probably returning back to Vol'jin to give him the glaive. And I definitely want to continue that quest line. And we'll also be finally going to speak with the Hex Lord Rawl, since it now finally gave me a waypoint of where they are. And, yeah. We'll be continuing those quest lines when we come back. Stay tuned.